The controversial Chevy Volt, it's back. This new and supposedly improved 2013 model now gets a whopping three, count them, additional miles per charge. Of course, it can take upwards of 11 hours for a full charge to go 38 measly miles. Time to bring out our panel. Gregory Warr is the CEO of Warr in Tampa. Larry Gatlin is the singer and songwriter for Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers, naturally, in Nashville. And George Jarkesy is the host of the George Jarkesy Show. George, let's start with you. You buying a Volt?
No, I'm not buying a Volt. And I got to tell you, I'm tired of the industry trying to shove something down our throats that we don't want.
And the government, too.
Sure. Well, it's a government-backed company.
Larry, what do you say?
Well, the good news is that it will get me 3 miles farther away from home before I run out of juice. You know, it's like Woody Allen said, that famous quote where he said that those two ladies went in the restaurant. He said, well, the food is really terrible in here. And the other lady said, yeah, and the servings are so small. So this is H.L. Mencken disproved, you know, that you'll never go broke by underestimating the buying taste of the American public. But you'll sure never go broke if you underestimate the buying taste of the American public, and the American taxpayers have to subsidize it. So this is another government boondoggle. Good Lord. Good
Lord is right. Gregory, what do you say?
Isn't the Volt the car that used to catch on fire? I guess GM did a study and found that this will get people 3 miles closer to a fire department. I think one of the good things, and I think with the car, it's good. It's good for GM because they had problems before. They have a car that now gets more miles to the gallon, but this usually comes in effect when oil is at a higher price. Right now, oil's been dropping, so it's really not a factor. People would rather have the bigger SUVs, I think. But this is good. When oil starts hitting that $140 a barrel price, GM has a product that'll really knock their socks off.
You know, hey, it does bring up that good news that oil prices are down. All right, let's keep talking about cars. Can't drive 55? How about 85? Drivers with a need for speed might want to consider moving to Texas as Leadfoot officials consider boosting the speed limit to the highest in the nation. The 85-mile-an-hour limit would be the second fastest in the world, beat out only by Poland's 86-mile-an-hour limit. Larry, shouldn't we lead the globe, not follow Poland? Come on now.
Well, I was trying to lead the pack. 3 nights ago, I was on Interstate 35. You know, they're building the one over on I-130, just about 6 or 8 miles to the east. And I was going 79 miles an hour. A state trooper, and people were passing me like I was standing still. So a state trooper pulls me over. And I was doing 78, 79. I said, people were passing me, and I'm doing 78. Why'd you stop me? He said, hell, Gatlin, you're the only one I could catch. So the fact is, it is not a perfect world. There are trade-offs. We could go 4 miles an hour. Nobody would be hurt or injured. The trade-off is going 85 over on the new I-30, and seriously, or driving 85 on I-35 where it's so congested with trucks. I mean, that is the backbone of America, from Laredo, Texas to Duluth, Minnesota. So the old deal is good luck staying alive if you drive I-35. So it's Texas. Government, leave it alone. Drive as fast as you want to. Get out of the way.
All right, George.
Well, this deregulation of government is going to save me a lot of money. I want to save at least 3 tickets a year, as I am from Houston, Texas.
Right. You guys drive really long. All right. So, Gregory Warr, what do you say? Are you from Texas, too? You're not, are you?
No, I'm not from Texas. New York and Florida. But I'll tell you, it was kind of interesting with the study. They came up with the speed limit because when they did a study of the drivers, they said most people are driving 85 miles an hour anyway. So I thought it was kind of funny. Instead of giving more tickets like Larry had, they just said, hey, let's increase the speed limit. For me, I think it's good. I can get out of Texas that much faster.
Uh-oh, somebody's starting a fight. All right, let's move on.
Well, we want you to leave then. Bye.
Hey,
yeah, I can agree with that.
As a New Yorker, I love Dallas because anytime the Giants play them, it's a guaranteed win.
Hey, now. All right, let's talk about Austin. I love Austin. That is a great town. All right. But we digress.
I'm only teasing.
We digress. The government announcing a year-long test involving cars that talk to each other. Vehicles will be equipped to communicate over wireless networks, analyzing information on location, direction, and speed 10 times a second. The computer analyzes this data and issues warnings often before the driver even knows what's happening. Gregory, what do you say?
I think people are too busy texting to pay attention to this thing talking to them. You got lights flashing. You have things telling you which way cars are going. For the time being, it's fine. I think they're testing in Ford Tauruses, so if you're in a Ford Taurus and somebody else is in a Ford Taurus, you're not going to hit them. But the kid coming out of Texas in a El Camino at 85, he's going to run into you.
Greg, you're not supposed to text when you drive. Come on, buddy. Let's not do that.
Oh, no, I said everybody else, not me, Jerry.
Oh, right. George, what do you say?
Well, you know, Greg has a good point, but, you know, I felt that way when I first got my motorhome. You got the side cameras, the back camera, everything. But once you incorporate it, it's so much safer. And I think you're going to see the American public enjoy it and use it quite a bit, and it'll save a lot of wrecks.
Larry?
Slippery slope here.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be talking hate speech to one another, and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton would show up. And I think we'd be better off if we get husbands to talk to wives.
Larry, it's about cars. Come on
I know
now.
that, but that's
Read the
hate
research.
speech between. It's a slippery slope. They would show up, you know. I think we'd be better off if we could get Harry Reid to talk to the Budget Committee. I really do.
Okay, moving on. If you're looking for a pay raise, consider this. Those who hit the gym on a consistent basis earn nearly 10% more than their idle counterparts. This is according to a new study. George, I don't know if I buy this or not. What do you say?
Yeah, I do. I think that you're finding that during this depression, people are looking for a cheap way to let off steam, and you know, people that can deal with their stress tend to do better at work and are more productive. So I could see that being the case.
Greg.
When I read this morning, I thought, hey, you know what? Let me go down to a local gym and get somebody who works out for 3 hours a day, and they'll be a lot smarter and help me. I put them in a room. As soon as they learn how to figure that, how to turn the computer on, they'll be making millions. I think when you look at something like this, you look at, okay, hey, they're exercising, but if you have the same variable of waking up early, it's the same thing. I think it's a very good start to a research, but I think it's more of a theory. You got to combine more factors than one.
More factors, Larry. What do you say?
Well, I think, you know, if you're not throwing up on someone in the at the desk next to you at work, or if you're not at home sick, or if you're not graveyard dead, you just might be able to earn more money. Who did this survey? Holy.
We probably paid for it. That's what I'm worried about. Okay, let's look at a poll. Let's look at a political poll. Why not, right? President George W. Bush is America's most unpopular living president. That's according to a new poll showing W at the bottom of the list. Let me tell you, our current president was at the bottom too. Obama didn't do well. George, what do you say?
Well, I think I'm from Texas. You know, I love GW, but I got to tell you, I think when it's all over, Obama's gonna beat him as to the bottom, and he's on his way there very quick.
Larry.
Well, the folks who they polled were, you know, are the same people who voted for President Obama, a man who thinks hope is a political strategy and change refers to your underwear at least once every 24 hours. I met an Iraqi cab driver in Dallas 2 nights ago, in all seriousness. He recognized me from my work with you and the other folks at Fox. He said, Mr. Gatlin, tell George Bush he owns my life and my body for the rest of my life. Saddam Hussein raped my mother and my sisters and killed 2 of my uncles. So why don't we take the real poll instead of the Communist News Network making the poll, taking it on the Upper West Side or in Beverly Hills. It's balderdash, it's hogwash, it's bovine droppings. It's about the nicest thing I can say about the whole poll.
Gregory, do you agree?
How do I follow up a rape story like that? That's a tough one. You know, this was a challenging thing to me when I read this, as far as I was really amazed when it's a matter of, you know, people think they're better off now than they were 4 years ago. I mean, forget liking a person or disliking a person. We got high unemployment. The average hourly wage is down. I really just couldn't imagine this when I saw this, that people say they're better off today than 4 years ago. Look, we were in a downward slide and getting to that downward slide, but man, there was a lot of money floating around at that time.
Those are the days. All right, Gregory, Larry, and George, thanks to you guys. You were just fantastic. Appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jerry. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.